Your mind is your own domain. It is not ruled by others unless you allow it. Each thought you accept, each judgment you hold, each emotion you nurture, these shape the quality of your inner life. The Stoics saw this clearly. They knew the mind could be both strong and fragile. Strong when guided by principle, fragile when left open to distraction, fear, and vanity. To live with steadiness, you must govern your mind with discipline, not as a tyrant, but as a careful steward. Guard it as you would a home, letting in only what strengthens and aligns with your values. What you admit through thought and attention becomes the foundation of your character. Leadership begins here, within. No one bestows it upon you. It is claimed in how you think, how you act, and how you carry yourself. When you lead yourself well, you move with quiet confidence. Life's storms may still come, but they will not uproot you. Disagreement will not unsettle you. Failure will not define you. Others will sense this stability in your words, your actions, even your silence. It is like wearing a crown, unseen yet felt. Chapter 1. Guard the gates. Your mind is approached constantly by voices, images, opinions, and fears. Some arrive openly, some slip in quietly. The Stoics taught that guarding the mind is not optional. It is essential for self-mastery. If you allow envy, bitterness, and idle talk to settle inside, they grow roots and weaken your judgment. This requires daily vigilance. The books you read, the conversations you join, the media you consume, all are influences at your gate. Some bring nourishment, others bring poison. Each choice either strengthens your inner world or leaves it vulnerable. Guarding the gates is not only about avoiding harm, it is also about welcoming what is good. Seek voices that challenge you toward wisdom. Keep company with ideas that build courage and patience. Through study and reflection, surround yourself with what lifts the mind. As Epictetus taught, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. And opinions are shaped by what you allow in. If you feed your mind with noise, conflict, and shallow distractions, your judgments will mirror them. If you choose what is clear, noble, and steady, your mind will grow in the same direction. Over time, if you are not attentive, your judgments can lose their sharpness. Resilience fades, direction blurs. Instead of shaping life, you find yourself simply reacting to it, carried along by influences you never chose. This is why the practice of guarding the mind cannot be casual. It must be intentional, steady, and enduring. A filter is needed, one that quietly asks, does this strengthen me, or does it weaken me? Even the smallest idea, if left unchecked, can take root. Over time, it may erode your clarity and weaken the foundation you've built. Just as water slowly wears down stone, small lapses in vigilance can quietly undo what discipline has created. These lapses often seem insignificant in the moment. A careless word absorbed without reflection, a story left to linger in your thoughts. Yet the cumulative effect is real. Focus blurs, discipline weakens, and resilience diminishes. It is rarely the dramatic challenges that erode the mind most deeply, but the quiet, ordinary distractions that slip by unnoticed. For this reason, protecting the mind must be treated as a sacred responsibility. To guard it is to recognize its worth. Self-awareness becomes your companion, reminding you to ask whether your thoughts, actions, and emotions are aligned with your principles. This care is needed not only in times of struggle, but perhaps even more in times of ease, when complacency invites you to lower your guard. Mastery is not found only in meeting the obvious trials of life, but in winning the unseen ones, the moments when vigilance is silent yet firm, visible only to yourself. Begin each day by asking, what am I allowing into my mind today? Be deliberate about the influences you welcome, as if curating the guests to a sacred space. Protect your peace as something of immeasurable value. Chapter 2. Decide with conviction. Indecision is a quiet enemy of growth. A Stoic does not drift endlessly between options. He decides from principle, not impulse. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." True clarity is not found by chance. It is built over time. Through reflection, through testing beliefs against experience, through the patient removal of what proves false or unworthy. It is earned by countless small acts of honesty with oneself, by choosing depth over distraction. A person without clarity is like a ship without a captain, pulled wherever the currents take it. But when you stand firmly at the helm, guided by values you have examined and chosen, you no longer drift. Your clarity becomes your compass. Your decisions become the strokes that cut your course through the waters of life. You begin by weighing your situation against the principles you have chosen as your guide. These are not borrowed ideals, but truths shaped through reflection and experience, anchors you have tested and made your own. From this ground, you act with confidence, trusting in your preparation, your reason, and your integrity. Once a decision is made with care, you move forward without clinging to regret. Regret is often the echo of fear, a way the mind tries to undermine itself. A decision rooted in wisdom and honest intent is not a chain to carry, but a stone in the foundation of a deliberate life. Each sound decision strengthens the architecture of your character, standing as proof of self-governance. The modern world complicates this process. It offers endless options, countless opinions, and the lure of hesitation. It whispers that certainty lies just beyond one more article, one more perspective, one more pause. But this search for perfect assurance weakens your capacity to act. Life rarely grants absolute clarity before the moment of action. Decision-making, then, must become a steady practice, not a rare event. Each choice, whether large or small, is a chance to refine your compass and to deepen trust in yourself. Every act of clarity trains the mind to cut through noise, confusion, and distraction. A disciplined mind does not require perfect circumstances. It learns to recognize the clear thread in the midst of complexity and follow it with composure. Fear will often try to disguise itself as prudence, as caution, even as wisdom. The task is not to banish fear, but to recognize its voice and continue forward. In doing so, you build resilience. You learn from outcomes without being defined by them. Neither triumph nor failure determines your worth. What matters is the constancy of discipline, the willingness to act in alignment with principle. Over time, this steadiness becomes visible. Decisiveness is no longer a hurried impulse, but a calm strength, quiet, deliberate, and unwavering. Others may sense it without knowing why. The presence of someone who governs themselves, who trusts themselves, who carries authority not with noise, but with serenity. Each decision, whether small or significant, is a moment of practice. It is a chance to show yourself that you can live guided by reason, principle, and courage. Decide with care, not in haste, but with confidence that comes from reflection. Let your values lead the way. Acknowledge your fears, but do not hand them the authority to decide for you. Every choice shapes you. Like a chisel against stone, each decision carves the outline of your character. When you return again and again to conviction and clarity, you build a mind that is steady and enduring, able to carry burdens, to meet difficulty with calm, and to remain alive with purpose. Over time, this practice does more than sharpen your ability to decide. It shapes who you are. You become not only someone who makes choices, but someone whose very being reflects decisiveness, an architect of your path, a guardian of your soul. Chapter 3. Walk with authority. Strength is not only an inner condition, it is also expressed outwardly. In the way you stand, in the tone of your voice, in the pace of your movements. Long before you speak, your presence communicates who you believe yourself to be. The Stoics did not value appearance for vanity's sake, but they understood the power of bearing. How you carry yourself reflects how you command yourself within. A person who walks with dignity, composure, and quiet confidence needs no demands for respect. It is offered naturally. Seneca once wrote that a great mind is a great fortune. That richness of soul is not hidden. It radiates outward. It shapes the way you move, the way you meet others, the way you stand in silence. When you carry yourself with calm assurance, when your shoulders are steady, your gaze is clear, and your steps are measured, you affirm something to both yourself and the world. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I do not need external approval to remain steady. This is not arrogance, which hungers for recognition, nor is it pride, which depends on applause. True authority is quieter. It requires no performance. It is the presence of someone who governs themselves fully, whose strength is rooted so deeply that it cannot be shaken by insult, misunderstanding, or dismissal. To walk with this kind of presence is to live from an inner command that asks for nothing and yet commands respect without a word. It begins with the recognition that your worth is not conditional. It does not depend on approval, circumstance, or recognition. It is intrinsic, rooted in the simple fact that you belong to yourself. To live from this truth is to act not from pressure or trend, but from conviction steadily formed within. When your outer bearing reflects this inner discipline, when your words, movements, and silences all flow from self-governance, your presence becomes unmistakable. It is not loud, but it is clear, not showy, but undeniable. This kind of presence cannot be imitated because it arises only from character patiently built over time. Others will feel it, whether through admiration or unease, but never indifference. You will not need to convince anyone of your value. It will be recognized instinctively as something both ancient and true. Authority of this kind is not about swagger or display. It is a quiet strength born from authenticity and the steady work of self-respect. It is the expression of a life shaped by discipline, reflection, and principle. Even when no audience is watching and no reward is promised. This is the rare power of someone who has made their inner life strong enough to shape the outer world. Someone whose calm steadiness shifts the atmosphere without being shaken by it. Such presence is the fruit of an inward victory. It is what allows you to move through the storms and distractions of life without losing your composure. To cultivate it, treat even the simplest actions as deliberate expressions of who you are. Sit with awareness. Walk with intention. Let your spine rise naturally, grounded yet open. Allow your shoulders to rest back, free from tension, signaling openness rather than defense. Let each step carry calm certainty, each word emerge with thoughtfulness and weight. Do not hurry your speech. Give it clarity through measured pacing. Let your silences carry as much presence as your words. Hold eye contact that is steady but unforced. that communicates both attentiveness and ease. I see you, and I am unafraid to be seen. This is the quiet authority of a disciplined life, an authority that needs no display, because it rests on a foundation that cannot be taken away. Let your gaze carry sincerity, steadiness, and attentiveness, not dominance, not neediness. Treat even the smallest action as a reflection of your inner discipline. How you sit, how you enter a room, how you listen. Each gesture and word can serve as a quiet testament to the character you are continually shaping within yourself. Chapter 4. Endure the trials. Every stronghold faces storms, sieges, and times of scarcity. Your life will be no different. To think with authority is to accept this truth. Hardship is not a detour from the path of life. It is part of the path itself. True strength is not the absence of difficulty. It is the steady, disciplined way in which you meet it. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortune, not to dwell in fear or gloom, but to prepare the spirit. By imagining loss, betrayal, illness, or even death, they sought to build resilience so that when trials arrived, the mind would not collapse under surprise. This practice is not pessimism, it is armor. It is the training of the soul to endure without panic, to absorb the blows of fortune without breaking. In this way, you become a strategist of the mind, mapping the terrain of adversity before you must walk it, so that when the march comes, each step is deliberate and steady. Marcus Aurelius reflected often on hardship and mortality, not to surrender to despair, but to strip fear of its power. By facing misfortune in thought, he robbed it of its ability to terrify him in reality. When difficulties arise, as they surely will, the Stoic does not meet them with bitterness or panic. Instead, they recognize trials as part of the human condition, not punishment, not cosmic injustice. Hardship is the ground upon which character is tested and revealed. It is not the suffering itself that defines a Stoic, but the response, composed, wise, and unwavering. In this response, adversity is transformed. Obstacles are no longer only hindrances. They become the crucibles where patience, courage, and endurance are refined. Each trial, then, is fire. It burns away what is fragile and leaves behind what is steady. Hardship becomes not just something to survive, but a vital part of becoming, tempering the spirit into one capable of withstanding any storm. Challenges can become sharpening stones, refining judgment and strengthening character. As a blacksmith shapes steel through repeated blows, so too can the mind be shaped through hardship. What first appears as misfortune can, with preparation, become material for growth, transforming struggle into wisdom, strength, and grace. Adversity, when met with discipline, ceases to be only a burden. It becomes a teacher. It burns away what is unnecessary and reveals what is enduring. Within this forge, an inner foundation is built, a core of resolve that external circumstances cannot touch. By practicing this perspective daily, not only in thought, but in action, you learn to rise through difficulty rather than be crushed by it. You become steady in the storm, a quiet point of clarity in a world that often thrashes about in confusion. A simple practice can help. Spend a few minutes each morning picturing the challenges the day might hold. Consider disagreements, delays, fatigue, or the pull of temptation. Do not rush past them. See them clearly. Then imagine yourself meeting them with patience, composure, and strength. Visualize your mind like a mountain, steady against the winds. Each obstacle becomes not an interruption, but an opportunity to live your values more fully. No day unfolds exactly as we wish. By preparing for this truth, you enter life with foresight and intention, less shaken by what arises. Trials are no longer greeted with dread, but with the calm of someone ready to meet them. Chapter 5. Build inner strength. Self-mastery is cultivated quietly, often unseen. It does not announce itself loudly, yet it is felt. Like the steady warmth of a fire, inner strength radiates without effort, shaping the space around it. The Stoics taught that greatness is inward. It is not measured by wealth, applause, or circumstance. A person who has governed themselves has no need to prove their strength. It is evident in their serenity, their resilience, their constancy. Their silence carries meaning. Their steadiness becomes instruction. Their composure speaks without words. True authority is not flaunted. It is lived. It reveals itself in the quiet strength of a life aligned with principle, a strength that cannot be taken away. When the world trembles, some remain steady. When confusion spreads, they stay clear. What sets them apart is not chance, but the foundation they have built over time, quietly, patiently, through practice. In daily life, this strength reveals itself not through grand gestures, but through small, consistent choices. Choosing honesty when a lie might be easier, remaining disciplined when there is no reward or recognition, holding to principle when shortcuts offer comfort or ease. It is speaking truth even when silence might shield you from discomfort. It is standing firm in your values when no one notices or applauds. Each of these moments, though small, becomes a thread in the weaving of character. Every decision to uphold integrity strengthens the inner fortress until the spirit itself becomes unshakable, untouched by circumstance, criticism, or loss. Discipline, refined through practice, begins to flow naturally. It is courage over comfort, authenticity over approval, perseverance over fleeting pleasure. These unseen acts of excellence do not call for attention. They take place in quiet rooms, in private decisions, in battles only you know were fought. Mastery is not a single achievement, but the slow accumulation of invisible victories. Each honest word, each temptation resisted, each principle upheld in solitude becomes a fiber in the tapestry of your being. Together, they form a hidden architecture of character, so enduring it cannot be shaken by praise or broken by scorn. Over time, these choices create resilience, the capacity to absorb shock without splintering, to bend in hardship but not break. Life itself becomes a testament to fortitude. Each day adds strength, clarity, and steadiness to the foundation you are building. This is not a loud declaration, but a quiet rhythm, a way of moving through the world with grace and authority. This is your invisible crown, not worn in arrogance, but carried with the quiet dignity of one who has mastered themselves. It requires no announcement, no ornament. It is felt rather than seen, the unmistakable weight of a life lived by principle. True greatness is not granted by fortune nor dependent on circumstance. It is built patiently, one unseen triumph at a time, until it shines through everything you are. Each choice is a step toward becoming. Each is a stone set with intention in the structure of your character. Every act of courage in the face of fear, every decision to do what is right despite temptation, every moment of perseverance when quitting seemed easier. Together, they form the unseen pillars of a life built on strength. This inner fortress is not built in a day, nor is it ever complete. It grows slowly, strengthened by the choices you make in private and the discipline you uphold when no one is watching. Over time, it becomes a quiet monument to endurance, to virtue, and to the decision to live with meaning rather than convenience. Rising quietly within, it becomes a foundation that no storm can wash away, no opinion can erode. Greatness is not stumbled upon, it is shaped with intention, stone by stone, through steady thought, honest action, and fidelity to your highest principles. Each evening, set aside a moment to reflect. Did I lead my mind today? Let it be an honest question, not rushed. Revisit the moments where you were tested, times when patience was strained, when you stood firm, or when you faltered. Notice how you spoke, how you carried yourself, how you responded to difficulty and ease alike. Do not measure the day by accolades or external success, but by the steadiness of your mind, the clarity of your choices, and your faithfulness to your values. Ask yourself, did I act from my better self, or did I let impulse take the lead? Did I strengthen my foundation, or did I allow cracks to form? This nightly practice is not about harsh judgment, but about awareness. It is the daily maintenance of your inner fortress, preparing you to meet tomorrow with greater clarity and resilience. Chapter 6. Master your reactions. Authority over the self begins here, with the way you respond. Life will always bring challenges, frustrations, and setbacks. The Stoics taught that while much lies beyond our control, our reactions are ours to govern. This is the meeting point between the world's disorder and the mind's discipline. In the narrow space between stimulus and response lies your greatest freedom. When someone offends you, when plans unravel, when disappointment arrives, you stand at a crossroads. To react with anger, blame, or despair is to hand away your power, but to pause, to choose patience, clarity, or silence when silence is strength. That is mastery. When you let circumstances dictate your inner state, emotions rise and fall like storms, eroding your clarity and unsettling your composure. You drift from being the author of your own life into becoming a passenger of external chaos. But when you pause and respond with patience, wisdom, and calm, you reclaim command. You reassert your dignity and remind yourself that peace and self-respect are not gifts from the world. They are cultivated within. Every difficulty is an invitation to practice mastery. An insult becomes an opportunity to steady your heart. Disappointment becomes a moment to strengthen your resilience. An obstacle, however unexpected, becomes a chance to embody your values. These trials, approached with awareness, do not diminish you. They refine you. Each deliberate response strengthens the muscles of discipline, patience, and courage. They are the hidden training grounds of character. Every choice to act with intention rather than impulse lays another stone in the foundation of your inner fortress. A wall of quiet strength rises, not for others to see, but for you to stand upon when life presses hardest. This inner fortress is not an escape from the world, but a source of clarity within it. True strength does not lie in bending events to your will, nor in controlling outcomes, but in governing yourself in the midst of uncertainty. To remain anchored in your values, clear in your judgment, and calm in your presence. This is authority. It is the ability to meet insult with patience, failure with resolve, uncertainty with courage, and temptation with integrity. The way of living is not reactive, but deliberate, not shaped by chaos, but rooted in harmony, not scattered by fortune, but steady as a tree weathering every season with grace. To live this way is to act, not to be acted upon, to steer your course with quiet intention, not drift aimlessly on currents of chance. It is to walk the earth as the sovereign of your own mind, with dignity, with steadiness, with strength that requires no display. Such a presence influences without force, inspires without boast, and reminds others without a word that resilience and freedom are born within. And when anger, fear, or despair press upon you, rise, pause, breathe, return to yourself. Name the emotion without judgment. Observe it as it is. Then choose your response deliberately, as a strategist plans a thoughtful move. Chapter 7. Speak with purpose. Words are more than sounds. They are instruments of leadership, capable of building understanding or sowing confusion. Careless speech clouds thought, strains relationships, and diminishes influence. Purposeful speech, by contrast, fosters clarity, trust, and respect. When used with intention, words shape not only how others perceive the world, but also how you perceive yourself. The Stoics valued silence over idle chatter, understanding that words once spoken cannot be taken back, and that speech without thought can be as harmful as action without principle. Words can heal or harm, illuminate or obscure, and their impact often lasts far beyond the moment they are spoken. Speaking less, but with care, ensures your words carry weight. They command attention not by volume or frequency, but by necessity and thoughtfulness. Each deliberate word reflects your self-mastery, a mirror of the order and discipline cultivated within. Careful speech is the outward sign of an inwardly ordered mind. It demonstrates that you can temper impulses and channel thoughts with precision. In daily life, make each word count. Do not speak simply to fill silence. Treat silence as a fertile space, disturbed only by words that offer value. Speak. When your words clarify, inspire, encourage understanding, or uphold what is just, let them build rather than tear down, mindful of the effects they carry. Each word should be measured, arising from reflection, like a well-crafted tool serving a meaningful purpose. Let your words be rooted in honesty, grounded in respect, and guided by usefulness, like arrows drawn from a quiver, aimed carefully at what matters. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to reveal not just what you think, but who you are. Mindful speech reflects your discipline, your empathy, and your commitment to living intentionally. Through dialogue, patience, wisdom, and respect become visible. Words spoken with care become bridges, connecting minds, dissolving misunderstanding, and fostering trust. Reckless words build walls, ignite conflict, and deepen division. Mindful words clear barriers and bring light where there was confusion. By treating speech as a deliberate practice, you cultivate a quiet authority, a presence felt in thoughtfulness, integrity, and wisdom. Each word adds weight to your presence, establishing you as someone whose voice is respected not for its volume, but for its substance, clarity, and purpose. Over time, your presence will command respect, not because you seek it, but because your words, when spoken, are measured, thoughtful, and born of inner strength. People will listen, sensing intuitively that your speech is purposeful, reflective, and considered, not casual or reactive. Others will recognize that when you speak, it is worth hearing, not because you demand attention through performance or theatrics, but because you have earned trust through consistent discipline, attentive listening, and deliberate action. Your reputation will grow quietly, built on the steady quality of your character, rather than loud declarations. Your words will carry a rare and steady weight, reflecting the care and effort invested in your inner development. People will sense, even before you speak, that your voice arises from a well of genuine thought and integrity, not from a need for approval. Each word will embody self-mastery, patience, and reflection, echoing the countless moments of quiet restraint and deliberate consideration that have shaped your character. Speech will become more than sound. It will be a living expression of your values, a visible reflection of the inner order you have cultivated. It will testify to your clarity, resilience, and authenticity. A voice that rises not from ego, but from depth, not from noise, but from a reservoir of earned authority and calm practice, speaking with deliberation, letting each word emerge fully formed rather than scattered. Pause, feel the meaning of your speech, and ask sincerely before speaking. Is this true? Is it necessary? Does it reflect my highest values? Let this pause become a daily ritual, allowing only your most intentional expressions to pass. When your words are filtered through this discipline, they carry the quiet power of self-mastery. They resonate not only with reason, but with the weight of a mind fully aligned with its principles. A voice that mirrors a life lived with calm authority. Chapter 8. Command your time. Time is the ultimate currency, more precious than any treasure, more fleeting than any possession. Seneca wrote, "People are frugal with their property, but not with their time, though time is the one thing it is right to be stingy with. Every moment that passes is gone forever, a fragment of your life quietly slipping into the past. To treat time lightly is to treat life itself with carelessness. Someone who wastes time diminishes their potential, letting opportunities pass unnoticed, leaving only the shadow of what might have been. Your minutes and hours are treasures, precious not to hoard, but to invest wisely in pursuits that align with your deepest values and highest aspirations. Every distraction, every indulgence in triviality steals more than time. It steals clarity, momentum, and the chance to build the life you are capable of. Modern life offers a constant flood of noise, notifications, endless entertainment, the ceaseless pull of distraction. These are the sirens, inviting you to drift from purpose into mediocrity. To guard your focus, you must be deliberate. Every demand on your time should be filtered through the question, does this serve my values and goals? Choosing carefully how to spend your time is not merely a habit, it is an act of leadership over your own life, a quiet affirmation of your priorities. Begin each morning by identifying the 3 most important things to accomplish. Not merely tasks, but actions that bring you closer to your highest goals, that strengthen your character and cultivate discipline. Protect this time as you would a sacred treasure. Block it off, guard it fiercely, and devote yourself fully to it. Refuse to allow idle interruptions, fleeting distractions, or trivial obligations to derail your focus. Treat these intrusions for what they are, thieves of your potential. Each time you defend your attention, you reaffirm your authority over your life. Each time you complete your priorities with care and presence, you reinforce the foundation of your self-mastery and step closer to the person you are meant to become. Chapter 9. Cultivate inner wealth. True wealth is not measured by possessions or the accumulation of material things. It is found in the enduring strength of character. A person who relies on material wealth for their sense of worth is never free. They remain tethered to what lies beyond their control, vulnerable to loss, envy, and fear. Their happiness rises and falls with circumstance. But one who cultivates wisdom, courage, temperance and justice possesses a wealth no enemy can seize, no thief can steal, and no misfortune can diminish. This is the wealth of the soul, unbreakable, enduring, and eternal. In practice, this means measuring yourself not by praise, possessions, or popularity, but by your own internal standards. Ask yourself daily, am I growing more patient in the face of frustration? More courageous when fear arises? More disciplined when temptation calls? More compassionate toward ignorance and error? These questions chart the true treasury of self-mastery. Every act of virtue, every fear confronted, yea, every disciplined thought and deliberate action enriches this inner fortune. Set aside time each week to reflect not on what you gained or lost externally, but on how you have grown inwardly. Count the invisible victories, the moments you chose strength over weakness, wisdom over impulse, kindness over cruelty. Notice the subtle shifts within yourself, for they are the markers of real progress. Treat the cultivation of your character with the same focus and seriousness others reserve for financial goals. Invest in patience, integrity, courage, and wisdom. Gold may glitter for a moment, but virtue shines eternally, lighting your path and inspiring those who witness it. Chapter 10. Master yourself, master your life. The final truth is simple. By mastering yourself, you master your life. The world beyond remains unpredictable, chaotic, and at times harsh. Storms will come, circumstances will shift, but within, where it matters most, you remain sovereign. Your mind becomes a citadel, your spirit a fortress of calm amidst the noise. Stoicism does not teach retreat from life, nor a withdrawal into detachment. It teaches engagement, full, courageous, and deliberate, not from fear or reaction, but from a place of inner authority. True strength emerges not from isolation, but from fearless participation, guided by reason and unwavering principle. When you act with self-leadership and respond with clarity, you build a life that no external force, loss, betrayal, or injustice can overturn. You become the immovable center within the ever-turning wheel of fortune. The strength you carry within is invisible, yet it shapes everything around you. It does more than protect. It radiates outward, inspiring without a word. It is felt in the way you enter a room, in the calm with which you meet adversity, and in the quiet assurance that surrounds you, even amidst chaos. Your presence becomes a living testimony, a life led by mastery rather than reaction, by purpose rather than circumstance, by direction rather than drift. You walk through life as a quiet force, unshaken by storms, grounded in principles, sustained by purpose. Your steps are deliberate, your words measured, your heart steady. You embody patience when others panic, strength when others falter, and clarity when confusion reigns. Every action, every silence, every response reflects the citadel you have built within. Each morning, pause and recommit yourself to this way of being. Sit in stillness and feel the weight of the day ahead. Speak with intention. Today I lead myself. Today I build my life. Let these words be more than routine. They are a solemn vow to your highest self, a quiet invocation of your deepest aspirations. Let them light your path, a reminder that every moment is a chance to choose mastery over chaos, purpose over aimlessness, discipline over impulse, courage over fear. Carry this vow through your day like a shield, drawing strength from it whenever doubt or temptation arises. Each deliberate choice strengthens the bond between who you are and who you are becoming. Every act of patience, every quiet moment of resilience, every silent choice of courage weaves another thread into the fabric of your sovereign soul. Your mind is your sanctuary, the stronghold that shapes all of life. Guard it as a treasure, defending it against fear, doubt, and triviality. Lead it as a kingdom entrusted to your care, ruling not with force but with wisdom, foresight, and integrity. Honor it as the source of every thought, word, and action, for from the mind flows the shape of your existence. Think with authority. Live with strength. Move through the world not as a leaf blown by winds outside your control, but as the author of your fate, the commander of your soul, and the living embodiment of disciplined, courageous sovereignty. A quiet beacon of inner mastery shining in every step, every word, every breath.